Hi scholars, let me demonstrate how to use Noodletools to cite a source. So I'm in a database and I have located an article that's going to be very helpful in answering my research questions. I know I'm going to use the information, I want to save it, I'm going to cite it. So I'm going to hop over to Noodletools and begin that process. So I'm in a project, I'm on the dashboard, and I'm moving over to Sources, which is where you go in Noodletools to cite your sources. All right, ready to create my new citation? Click that button. It asks, where is it? How did I find it? Where is it located? It's in a database. Lots of choices come up. Skim through them. Figure out what it is that you are citing and find it on the list. I am citing a newspaper. I will find it, click it. And now Noodletools brings up the appropriate template. You can change the template at this point if you realize you made a mistake. A helpful box comes up that tells you what you're supposed to type in there. So this is the name of the database. Provide the name of specific database. Capitalize information down below. So I don't know my database, so I'm going to go back and look, and I want to give you a tip. If you are in a database, probably on the bottom or maybe even on the top, there's a way to look at a MLA formatted citation. So this is really helpful because you can copy and paste the elements into the template. Filling in the URL can sometimes be a little tricky. Look at what Noodletools says you are looking for. It needs to be unique, persistent, and reasonably short. That's your criteria. So let's pop over to the database and figure out what we're going to do. So I look at the URL line up here and I realize quickly that it is not a persistent URL. That's because it has database code at the end of it, and this will change every single time you click on this article. So that's not persistent. What is persistent, though, is the root of the URL. That'll take you to the SIRS research homepage. That's what we're going to use. To verify that choice, we can compare to down here what they cited in their example. Exactly the same. So we're going to move over here and add that to our URL field. Moving on to the next point on the template, most recent date of access. That's usually today. And then moving on to citing the article information. You can change your resource type if you realize you've made a mistake. We'll start with the authors. So we'll toggle back over and look for who our authors are. Pretty easy to find them up here, and of course we could always verify with the database citation example. So let me pop these in quickly. Add another contributor by clicking here. Onto the article title. I've copied and pasted it. Sometimes Noodletools will have suggestions about capitalization and grammar, so look those over and make your decision to edit or not. This article was written in English, so it's not a translation. I'm skipping over. This is a common form of how newspapers are ordered, by the section, usually a letter, and then pages, usually a number. This is where you'd put it if you had access to that information. But right here it says that the database did not list the page numbers, and if you scroll down to the citation example, you'll notice that there's no page numbers listed here. So we can't find it, we will skip it. Now we're down to name of the newspaper. Let's toggle back over to our database. So we're looking for the publication or the name of the newspaper. Usually towards the top you will find the publication information. In this case it's Rockford Register Star. That's the name of the newspaper. You could always double check your find by looking at the citation sample. So I will copy that and toggle over and list it there. All right, let's move on to publication city. Let's take special note of what Noodletools is saying here in their help box. It says that we should leave it blank for a nationally published newspaper. So I can think of two of those off the top of my head, USA Today and Wall Street Journal. So those are nationally published. We'd leave it blank if it was one of those two. But look at their second note. For a local newspaper, provide the city if it is not already part of the name of the newspaper. It's really common for newspapers to be named after the city. For example, Los Angeles Times or Orange County Register. So noticing this newspaper's name is Rockford Register-Star. Rockford is a city in Illinois, so it also, like many others, includes the name of the city. So we are going to leave this blank as Noodletools has suggested that we do. So let's move on to our publication date. We're going to toggle back, look for our date here. Again, we could check it on the bottom if we wanted. September 6th, 2016. We're going to look next for edition. Here are some keywords that you could look for. I don't see anything about editions on the top citation information. And just to double check, I'm going to go down to their sample citation and look for edition information, and I don't see it here as well. So again, if there's something you can't find and the template asks for it, you just simply leave it blank. We filled in our template to the best of our ability, making sure we fill in anything that has an asterisk because we can't move forward without those items. And then submit. Once you submit, it'll take you back to your sources homepage. You'll see your source there. You could go back in and edit if you wanted. And as you create more and more sources, those will be added to the list. Okay, Tartans, that's a quick example of how to cite a source using Noodletools. A really key point is that Noodletools itself offers a lot of help, so read those help boxes. All right, go forth and cite something.